Welcome to the AI for Career Success video overview by Curt Robbins. We're experts at AI coaching and helping professionals like you and your employees upskill in AI.
For quite some time now, the tech world has been scrutinizing Apple's every move in the AI space. But what if the most significant clue about their future strategy wasn't found in a secret research lab, but was actually hidden in plain sight, right in the logo for their biggest developer conference?
According to some recent analysis, a teaser for a future WWDC is now being interpreted as something much more than just clever branding. The thinking is that it might actually be a subtle visual confirmation of a complete and fundamental overhaul for Siri. The basis for this analysis comes from an article by Megan McDonough, published on LinkedIn on April 19, 2026. The piece is titled, Apple Teases Siri's AI Redesign in WWDC 2026's Trailer, and it really lays the groundwork for understanding this potential shift in Apple's strategy. All right, let's begin by examining the surface-level changes. We'll start with what users would actually see and interact with on their screens. The reporting indicates that significant user interface updates are being tested for future versions of iOS, iPadOS, and macOS. The report details a few key things: a revamped interface with a unified search or ask prompt, a new glowing cursor visual to indicate that Siri is actively listening, and a more conventional chatbot layout. But the most crucial detail is the planned integration of third-party AIs like Claude and Gemini. Now, these interface changes are certainly interesting, but they're really just the tip of the iceberg. The real question we should be asking is, what do they tell us about Apple's deeper strategic play? These visual updates seem to point to a fundamental rethinking of what Siri is even for. And this is where the theory becomes truly compelling. The idea is that Apple is in the process of transforming Siri from a simple voice assistant into the primary gateway for all artificial intelligence on your device. The core concept here, as articulated by analyst Gennaro Cuofano, is what's called an agent orchestration layer. In this model, Siri is no longer positioned as the sole AI provider. Instead, it functions more like an intelligent router. It receives a user's request and then determines the best model to handle that specific task, whether it's an internal Apple model or an external third-party one. The difference here is profound. Just think about it for a moment. The old Siri was a voice-triggered feature you'd use for simple commands like setting a timer or asking about the weather. The new Siri, however, is being designed as a fundamental, system-wide layer that manages everything from a local search on your device to complex multi-step AI tasks. This quote from the analyst really gets to the heart of the matter. He says, Apple is not trying to win the frontier model race. It is redefining where value accrues in the stack. What this suggests is that Apple's goal isn't necessarily to build the single most powerful AI model. Instead, their strategy appears focused on controlling the platform, the digital front door through which all other AIs must pass to reach the user. This entire strategy seems to rest on 5 key pillars. First, making the interface itself the strategy, with Siri as the primary entry point. Second, agent orchestration, where Siri routes queries. Third, leveraging deep personal context from user data. Fourth, embedding this all at the operating system level, merging search and assistant functions. And finally, leveraging their own hardware for superior performance, speed, and stability. The most effective way to understand this is to look at the App Store playbook. Apple created the platform, they set the rules, and they controlled the distribution and monetization. This allowed countless developers to build and compete within that framework. This new AI strategy appears to be a direct application of that same incredibly successful model. So to summarize the entire strategic shift, you can think of it in 3 steps. Step 1 is to unify. Merge all user inputs like local search, web queries, and AI actions into one single interface. Step 2 is to orchestrate. Have Siri act as that intelligent router, directing tasks to the best AI for the job. And step 3 is to control. Own the user interface and the monetization layer, precisely as they've done with the App Store. This all leads us to a fascinating and compelling final question. If Apple successfully controls the primary interface through which hundreds of millions of users access artificial intelligence, does it even need to have the single best model itself? The strategy seems to suggest that owning the gateway may ultimately be far more valuable than owning any single destination. Thank you for watching. This is where we teach you AI and help you get smarter than your competition. If you like these videos, use the QR code at the beginning of this video to buy us a coffee or hire us to coach you or your employees in AI.
Please subscribe to the AI for Career Success YouTube channel and remember to like, comment, and share to help us reach a wider audience.